Hey everyone, in today's video I'll be looking at a game between myself and ccc412, which was played in the Rulers of Mars tournament. This is a long-running tradition on the Hodgepodge Discord, and this is the gold edition of the tournament, which means you need to have either a BGA rating of 600, or you need to have achieved that rating at some point, or a Steam rating above 2K. The requirements to enter the tournament is slightly more lenient than the top 50 tournament, where you need to have an active rating on a BJ of 650 or around 650. But it's still a very tough field. And my opponent here is I would say an up-and-coming player from Hong Kong, who is around the same skill level as me, probably. His recent Elo history is similar to mine, and he has a similar peak rating. So by all accounts, this is going to be a sort of evenly matched game. I believe this is the first edition of Rulers of Mars that has been played on BGA, and the community has moved mostly over to this platform because of bug issues on Steam. And for this edition, we introduced a new map, namely Vastitas Borealis. And I'm really excited about this because while I've played this map in social settings with my friends, I really haven't played it before in a competitive setting in the two-player format. So it's always interesting to try something new. And I've heard great things about this map, especially Anthracite likes to go on about how well balanced this map is with the milestones and awards and the way the board is laid out. So let us just have a brief look. I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you want more details on like the basics of this map, I would recommend the videos by either Mars Expert or Thread Pacifist, who both gave good introductions to Vastitas Borealis. So I'm going to put links to those videos in the description. But in general, the reason the map is considered to be so good is that there is a good balance between terraforming milestones and awards and engine M&As. So for instance, Geologist and Landscaper and Highlander would reward more of a ground game, whereas Spacefarer and Traveler and Blacksmith would reward more of an engine strategy. If there's one criticism I would have against this map, it might be that there is quite a bit of synergy between Geologist, Highlander, and to some extent Landscaper, because so Geologist requires you to have three, that would be this one, it requires you to have 3 tiles either on or next to or adjacent to one of these 4 volcanic areas. And if you start out with a bunch of plant production so that you can easily get tiles, you can probably get this milestone relatively easily. And then you're already in a good position on Highlander because you've already established tiles on sort of the outskirts of the board. So Highlander is having tiles that are not next to oceans. And even more so, this already gives you another edge on the Landscaper award, because you're probably starting to form some sort of cluster of tiles that will make you competitive on Landscaper, which is having the largest cluster of tiles. I should say that the Landscaper is probably the most interesting award on this map. It can really produce some fascinating dynamics where people compete back and forth on this award. You can block your opponent and cut them off and compete in very creative ways. So that's always great. On the milestone side, some of the milestones are a little more difficult to get than on other maps, like Agronomist for plant tags and Farmer for 5 animals or microbes. Those are pretty difficult to achieve. And I think that's good, because on some maps, like especially on Tharsis, if you get off to a strong start, you can kind of like just automatically get a couple of milestones and just be a lock on Landlord as well. Whereas I think all of these milestones and awards are either like distinct terraformer or engine M&As, so that you will get them if you're the Terraformer archetype going against an engine and vice versa. Or they're like super competitive in the case of Landscaper. Another thing I like is that, for instance, a blacksmith is an award for mineral production instead of miner on Tharsis, which is an award for having the most resources. So you won't get into these silly situations you have on Tharsis where you need to just stockpile a bunch of minerals and not spend them efficiently. So here you can both increase your production and spend your minerals, and that just feels like a more natural way to play the game, in my opinion. Okay, but enough about the map, so let's move on to the actual game. Actually, before we move on, I just wanted to mention a pet peeve of mine. So the Martian North Pole is an actual reality, mostly water ice, and it's just seasonally covered by a thin layer of CO2 or dry ice. Whereas the South Pole, which is featured on the Hellas map, has a permanent thick layer of dry ice. So thematically, it would be more correct if you had a bonus ocean here on the North Pole on Vastitas Borealis and a bonus temperature bump on Hellas. So shame on the developers for making such a thematic error. But anyway, moving on. Let's go and have a look at my opening hand. So I have the choice between Tharsis Republic and Interplanetary Cinematics. As we've seen, IC is typically a better corporation than Tharsis. If you have a playable hand for it, you need basically steel targets. We do have some steel targets here, mostly just Mohole area, which is a good steel target, certainly. But that is the only one, really, or the early one. So that would only account for half of our steel, reserve of 20 steel. We don't have many events either. We have imported Advanced GHG, which is certainly not the greatest event ever. And so there's not that much for IC here. There isn't really much for Tharsis Republic either. But I think in the case of Tharsis, at least you do get a free city, which can help you fight for Geologist. And if you can't really spend your steel, as I see anyway, then your economy is going to be better as Tharsis in the early game. So I would lean towards Tharsis here, although I'm not like, it's not a slam dunk, because Tharsis Republic isn't like, it's a pretty bad corporation unless you're specifically playing on the Tharsis map, or unless you're playing with more than 2 players. So I'm not exactly thrilled about the prospect of playing Tharsis, but I suspect it might be a better choice than IC here, but I'm not 100% sure. Other than that, we have some good cards. So we have, let's first take a look at our preludes. So IO Research Outpost, not a great prelude really. It does come with a Jovian tag, which can help with the Traveler award. But I think the Jovian tag here is less important than on, for instance, Hellas, where you have Rim Settler and Diversifier. Martian Industries, we've talked about, it's just not the best prelude unless you have Electrocat. Orbital Construction Yard can be pretty good, and I see that we have asteroid mining in our hand, so that can help pay for asteroid mining. And early asteroid mining is pretty good, even if you're not going for a Jovian strategy. And finally, we have Unimi Contractor, the best prelude in the game. So always happy to see that. So if we're going Tharsis here, I think we take Unimi, and since we have asteroid mining, I think we also take Orbital Construction Yard. Those would be my picks. Also, I should mention that there's Spacefarer, so we getting a science, no, not a science, a space tag for Spacefarer is good. So 4 space tags sounds pretty easy, but it's actually not that easy. If you're just playing with Baseball's Prelude, there aren't that many playable space cards early in the game. So here we can get 2 just like immediately. That's pretty good. If we look at the rest of our cards, so one card that stands out here is Psychrophiles. So Psychrophiles is like the little card that could. It's cheap and it produces cash you can use to pay for plant cards. Plant cards are good, and we have some of them here in algae and bushes and ecozones. So we're definitely will be able to make use of our Psychros. And it has a distinct advantage on this map because the Farmer Awards is really difficult to get unless you have a few specific cards. So nitrite reducing bacteria would be one of them, and Psychrophiles is probably the second best. I mean, it will take you 5 generations to get up to 5 Psychrophiles, but considering how difficult these milestones here are, you can probably just go 5 gens, get 5 Psychrophiles, and claim that milestone. So that is amazing. Like having this cheap card, which is already pretty good, and get a milestone from it as well. So that's amazing. With our since we want to be playing plant cards, bushes and algae are some of the best cards with plant tags, and ecological zone is the best one next to kelp farming. So that's just fantastic. And we have insects that we can use to boost our plant production after having played all of those plant tags. So that's really great, especially for Farsis Republic, since you'd love to surround your cities with greeneries, and there are milestones and awards in this map that can reward you for doing so. Apart from, so I think we keep the bio stuff here. We keep Psychros, bushes, algae, and ecosome, and insects. All of those make a lot of sense to me. And then asteroid mining, since we're going orbital construction yard, I think we're keeping that as well. But now we're getting, we've already picked a bunch of cards. So I think while biomass and power supply consortium can both be good cards, certainly, I think biomass is too late, and we're keeping like so many cards already, so I will skip it. And same with PSC. And Imported Advanced GHG is it's just not a fantastic card. So I would skip on these 3, and I believe that's what I actually ended up doing. Oh, and I forgot to mention Mohole area. Didn't discuss that so far, but since we're going asteroid mining, I can't afford Mohole area Gen 1. That makes it less good. But even Gen 2, I think Mohole area is good enough, especially if you don't find anything else, because most of our cards are locked behind requirements. So if we don't find anything from the Unimi draw and in the draft, I don't think we have anything better than Mohole area. It's also a tile on this map where having access to different parts of the board, it can be very important. So those are my opening picks, and my opponent is playing Ecoline with lots of mineral production. So not very happy to see that. First of all, Ecoline, I think, is a very tough opponent to face on this map. As we talked about, it has advantages on geologist, on Highlander, on landscaper, and even on agronomist. So Ecoline is I suspect this would be on average a strong performing corporation on this map with all its inherent advantages on these milestones and awards. And my opponent also starts with a bunch of mineral production, which could be relevant for blacksmith. Now, of course, we're going to be playing asteroid mining in orbital construction yards, so we're going to be competitive on that, but that just means that blacksmith is not going to be like an easy award for us or anything. And with my Unimi contractor, I draw plantation, which is okay. More cards, so another card I can pay for with my Psychros, and could help to boost insects even more. So definitely looking to get all of these plant cards online as like a core part of my strategy in this game. All right, let's see what he does. He plays the natural preserve right here. And I absolutely hate to see that, because that was the spot I was planning to go for with my city. I think this is generically the best initial spot on the map. You get 2 cards, and you're also next to a volcanic area, so that's already 1 tile for geologist here. Okay, and then he plays the mining rights as well. So he places that over here. So he doesn't go for a volcanic area with the mining rights, but I think it makes a lot of sense to secure access to different parts of the map. I mean, he could have gone on Hecata's Tholus over here. That's just not a very good part of the map, so I think this makes a lot of sense. I mean, you could also go here, but then you're just like, you're not getting access to any other part of the map. But this gives him an immediate lead on Geologist, which I maybe could have had ambitions to go for with my initial city. Also brings him up to 5 total mineral production. So good for him. I placed my city here, and maybe a bit of a controversial decision. There's so many places to go for here, and I'm not that experienced with this map, so I'm not sure like what the generically best locations are. One consideration could be here, southwest of Elysium Mons, because that's a tile for Geologist, and you also have 2 cards immediately next to it, and you have access to potential ocean rebates and so on. My reasoning for going here is that I will be immediately next to a very juicy spot here. Like if these oceans fill, I can get 6 MC and titanium back, which would be amazing. And this is also next to a volcanic area. And finally, I might pull off some shenanigans on Landscaper by cutting him off. And ideally, he'd like to go and convert his greeneries along next to these oceans here. So this spot in particular is one of the best on this map because of, like I said, the rebates you get and it being a geologist tile. So I'm certainly not sure about this placement here, but I thought it was okay. And now I have 22 MC after getting my 3 MC back after placing the city. So I could here go for Mohole area. That is a consideration. And I do play the asteroid mining, and I'm not 100% sure if that is the correct choice because I don't have any other titanium targets in my hand. And the heat I know is going to help us out by getting TR. And I'm getting titanium production, so I could use an extra titanium to pay for asteroid mining next gen. I think during the game I had just decided to go for asteroid mining, but again I'm not sure if maybe Mohole area here is better. Yeah. But I mentioned the Traveler Award. Like now we have 2 tags for Traveler, and Traveler tags, Earth and Jovians, are pretty difficult to get many of. So immediately having a 2-0 lead on that is already, kind of significant. Then he plays the Archibacteria, pretty good for Ecoline. I just play my Psychrophiles. Yeah, that was a consideration, although, yeah, we had 22 MC, so I could have played Ecozone and Psychrophiles. I mean, I could have played Mohole area and Psychrophiles, but I chose not to on this occasion. Here we have the advanced alloys, which I think is the single most important card in this draft that we're looking at here, because he has 5 combined mineral production, we have 3, and it's only Gen 2, so advanced alloys is going to be insanely good. Don't think you can pass that at all. These cards are less important. I would say that the land claim is a card that gets I would even say a significant buff on this map because of all of the tricks you can pull off in the fight for Landscaper. Being able to cut your opponent off with just 1 tile, maybe in these ocean bottlenecks here and maybe at the edges of the map, that could sometimes be enough to swing Landscaper. So it is a card you certainly don't want your opponent to have and might want to keep yourself. And here I think the Jovian tag makes some sense, just to get another tag for Traveler. And Advanced Alloys is an obvious keep here. I think you could argue for both Land Claim and Colonizer, but if we keep free, then we can't afford to play Mohole Area. So we need to decide on 2 cards, and I actually decide to keep Land Claim instead of Colonizer. Colonizer could be, like I said, could be good for Traveler. But it doesn't look like he's going to pressure me on Traveler at all. Like with his starting cards here, only having 5 cards on hand, I don't envision him playing too many Earth or Jovian tags, but of course that could change. And with my economy here, it's not looking that good, so I might not even be able to afford Colonizer before we blow past 5% oxygen with all of his plant production. So I think Colonizer is relatively weak here. I also don't have steel to pay for it with. Land Claim is certainly speculative, but I just keep it because I think it has a big potential upside where potentially that could be 1 MC to do like a 10 VP flip later on. Probably not going to happen, but you never know. And then I played my Mohole Area. I place it here. Again, I'm not familiar enough with this map to say whether that is the correct location or not. But once we go here, we have access to some pretty good parts of the map. Like you have this juicy 4MC temperature bump here on the North Pole, which also has ocean adjacencies. You're next to a card and more ocean adjacencies. And I get access to another part of the map. Like I don't want to go over here where I can already place tiles. You could make a case for going on this card here because that could have really good adjacencies in the future next to all these oceans, and getting a card early could be important because right now we're getting a bunch of titanium, but we have no titanium targets. But yeah, I think you can make a case for either of these two. You can also even make a case for this location because maybe you can snipe the 2-card location from him and maybe cut him off from some future Landscaper cluster. But that's the fun thing about this map. None of us, I think, have a lot of experience with it, so we're kind of just figuring out how to play it. And then he plays the imported hydrogen over there and immediately converts, and I believe he converts on the 2 cards. So he doesn't need to rush Geologist just yet because I only have 1 tile. I have no plant production. He has a bunch of plants coming in, so he's gonna probably just get that milestone anyway. And getting 2 cards and 2 cash back is pretty good. Then he plays the sponsors. Good cards here, even better with the Traveler Award. We go to the Gen 3 draft, and here there are, in my opinion, only 2 cards to consider. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll probably know that I'm a Soletta hater, so I just think this card is straight up trash, and you should never play it. But in Gen 3, I think everyone can agree that it's just too late to play a card like Soletta. Fuel Factory also, none of us have energy to play Fuel Factory, and we already have enough mineral production. The only argument for playing Fuel Factory is if you want to fight on Blacksmith, but I don't think it's worth it to just overinvest in mineral production early just because you want to win Blacksmith later on. So I'd rather just develop naturally. So the 2 cards we need to consider are Small Animals and Research Coordination. Now, Research Coordination hits multiple milestones, Agronomist, Spacefarer, and It doesn't hit the awards because it doesn't count for the awards, but him being ecoline means that research coordination might help him get agronomist. Typically, ecoline likes to keep a few plant tags anyway. And he has, with one plant tag, this could also potentially enable an early nitrogen-rich asteroid, which would be disastrous because he's already at 3 plant production. However, Small Animals is a very good card, and even though we're only at 1% oxygen, with him having 7 plants and 3 plant broad, I think oxygen will go relatively quickly in this game, so Small Animals is going to be a very good card. And you'll also notice that he doesn't have any heat. We have some heat, but most likely temperature is going to be the lagging parameter here. So being able to hit this plant production early and get a bunch of small animals is going to be very valuable. And we might play that after we have ecological zones. So this just becomes a very powerful card, and I think it's the clear winner. And he passes us Asteroid Mining Consortium. So I imagine the card he took first must have been a good one, because this is just really good for us. We already played the Asteroid Mining, so we're looking to play some Joves, presumably. And both of us have titanium production. Usually a Gen 3 AMC is not that impactful. I mean, the 6 production swing is still significant, but it's also a relatively expensive card. But again, we have the Blacksmith award. So after we play this, it goes from him being up 5-3 on that to it being 4-4. So that means there's no way he can fund Blacksmith anytime soon anyway. There's also another Jovian card. This is another card I don't really like. I think this is just Beam from Thorium Asteroid, just generally too expensive for what it does. It could get us Engineer, and I think that was something I didn't really think too much about during the game, but we could take Beam from a Thorium Asteroid here and just immediately get the Engineer milestone. It's not horrible, but it is a very expensive card, and with him looking to dominate the ground game early on, I'm not sure it's in our interest to keep increasing the heat production. So usually what happens if you have a lot of heat and you're up against Ecoline, all you're doing is helping them to end the game when their scoring on the board is going to be better than your scoring on along the temperature track. So I think Asteroid Mining Consortium is better here. But maybe someone could convince me otherwise. Okay, these garbage cards come back, and I think it's a clear case of we need to keep 2 cards. So I do. He buys 2 cards as well, so I assume he kept the first one. That must have been a good one. He plays the mining area and converts. So he plays mining area here and converts. So now he has a geologist already. Maybe mining area was the one he took over Asteroid Mining Consortium. I don't know. Would be a little surprising in that case. But maybe he's thinking if he gives me mining area, I can place it here and then maybe go for another tile and I steal geologist from him. Maybe that was what he was concerned about. But I play my AMC, and he placed research coordination into MedLab. So first when he played research coordination, I'm like, oh my god, he has NRA. But a free prod MedLab is not the scariest thing in the world, so not too concerned about that. But probably he played that because he's going to use the wild tag for something else later, because just paying 7 MC to get 1 extra MC production is not something a good player would do, so I assume he has other things he wants to do. And he claims geologist. I don't think necessarily there was a rush to do that, because there's no way I can get it before he gets to act next in the next generation. But I am relatively close on some of these other milestones, namely Farmer. But I'm not getting Farmer until the gen after. because I have used my Psychrophiles already this generation. I'm getting relatively close on Spacefarer, but that's pretty much the only one. So I don't think there was a rush to claim it, but sometimes you just do because of tempo reasons. And look what card that shows up. AI Central. I only have one science tag in my hand, and I don't have a lot of money. Like, look at this, only 29 MC, and that's before I buy any cards. So to enable AI, I need 2 more science tags, and I need to be able to afford those cards, and then I need to first increase my energy production, which will cost me some more, and then I need to play this expensive card without having any steel production. So for all that to happen, it's gonna take a while for sure. So I'm not like super thrilled about AI Central here, except that I'm thrilled that he doesn't have it because he already has 3 science tags and he's richer than me. So I'm glad he doesn't have it. We certainly need to cut the card, but it's not like I'm not even sure I'm going to keep it, to be honest. But here I think you have to take the Predators. That's the only logical choice. And Soil Factory is a garbage card, so we take SF Memorial. And I'm in a bit of a tricky situation here because I don't really have any plays. Like I said, AI Central is not coming online anytime soon. Neither are any of these other cards. Like Small Animals and a Gen or 2 will come online, but like, what is that doing? It's just giving me some animals. I don't really have any development and I don't have a lot of money, so it's a bit of a dire situation. And the big problem for me is that I invested so much into titanium production and I have nothing to spend it on. But if I can find titanium targets, then I have, with advanced alloys, I have 40 MC worth of titanium sitting here. So what I need right here is to draw cards. And with that in mind, I end up keeping SF Memorial, paying 10 MC for a point and a card with no steel. And this economy we have here is not great. It's not what you want to do, but here I feel like I'm desperate enough that I just need to find some playable cards. So I play the SF Memorial, find Terraforming. As we all know, that's not a very good card, so that's the whiff. I just take a Psychrophile. He passes, so it means he doesn't have a lot to do either, and I'm happy to see that. So I raise the temperature. I don't think there's any reason to sit on the heat here because I desperately need that TR to get some cash coming in that I can use to play some of my cards when I hopefully find some playable cards. And finally, we do find some playable cards in the Gen 5 draft here. The best of these is probably Mangrove, but Mangrove is another good card that comes online later, and that is the last thing we need right now. We have enough, late game cards already, so what we need now is something we can play immediately. And Restricted Area is also a very good card that will allow us to draw more cards, so I would rather prefer that. Cupola City is obviously generically a good card for Tharsis Republic, but this situation, I'm not sure it's the best we can do because we don't have energy production at the moment. So playing this card would be relatively expensive for us. Imagine if we have to SP power and buy and play this card. That's total of 19 MC for Cupola plus the 11, so that's 30 MC. We do get 3 MC back, but that was like 27 MC just to play a city and get some development. That is just way too expensive for us right now, considering we have no plant production at the moment, so it's not like we can capitalize on the city by surrounding it with greeneries anytime soon. The last card is Immigration Shuttles, and that is just not a very good card. Although I should say we are very desperate at the moment to find some titanium targets because we are up to 56 MC worth of unused titanium with our alloyed titanium. And I'll take pretty much almost any titanium target, but this one might just be a little bit too weak. So I think it's clear here that we take restricted area first, and then we get another trio of like hot garbage that we can't play. So don't really care about these. So I just take Carbonate because I don't want him to be able to speed up the game. I want to have more control over the game pace myself and the temperature track. And then these two cards come back. So honestly, I'd rather have immigration shuttles right now rather than mangrove personally, because like I said, 56 MC. Even if immigration shuttles is a super expensive card, that's only like barely more than half of our titanium pile. And it is a traveler card and will provide us much needed MC production. But I don't think you can really defend that, because mangrove is a very good card. I mean, we can potentially play that here later on. It can be important for taking up oxygen maybe, and fighting for spots on the map, and it's just a generically good card. So at this point, I think I'm in such a desperate situation that I don't think immigration shuttles will solve my problems. I think the only way I can come back in this game and win is if I find some actual good titanium targets, like big space events and Jovian multipliers and stuff like that. So even though it hurts, I'm going to have to give up on that one and just take Mangrove, another card, which I just like. I probably need to keep Mangrove here, but it really hurts to keep all these cards because it costs money to buy these cards and you know, hold on to them without being able to play them. But still, it's such a good card. I think we have to take it there. And he plays a standard Aquifer, kind of surprising, so that he can convert for 4MC back. I thought it was a bit early to be doing that because standard oceans are super expensive. And maybe he has kelp farming, but I mean, we have algae, so we know he doesn't have that. Maybe he has some of the like moss or the other moss. There are two mosses. What is the other one? I keep forgetting. Anyway, unless you have an ocean payoff that is coming online relatively soon, I don't see really how an SP Ocean is like the best move here, because we are very far from ending the game, and that is just very expensive. I mean, he's much richer than me, so he can afford it, but still. So I do play the restricted area, and I'm so desperate for cards here. I think I might as well play this on a card. So Geologist is no longer a concern, so I think Elysium Mons is probably a little worse. I think it's better to go down south. This has better access to adjacencies. So I go down there and we draw a large convoy. So finally we find a good space or titanium target. I'm a little worried because he seems to really want to get oceans out. So maybe I will enable an ocean locked card for him. But if it's like moss or something, I don't really care. It's not that important. It's more important that I can convert my titanium into something useful. So I'm really happy to see that card. We can easily afford it. And then I draw Demos down. So even better. Like now we find one of the absolute best titanium targets. And we can use that. We're starting next gen. We can blow up probably 6 of his plants or more. So that is just fantastic. Really lucky with how that turned out here. He standards another Aquifer. And I'm like, what? So he's really interested in rushing out the oceans. Now I'm thinking, like, should I play this large convoy? What is going on? Maybe he has like special design kelp planned or something like that. So he plays the Nitro Moss. So So maybe that was his ocean payoff. But like standarding 2 oceans just to get Nitromoss online, that seems excessive to say the least. Maybe there are reasons for why he did that. Maybe he feels like he's in such lead, he should just rush the game. But I play my advanced alloys and I add a psychrophile. He passes, so now I can play the large convoy, and I think logically it makes sense here to go on one of these tiles like next to my city. So I go here, so that if he feels inclined to place an ocean next to this ocean, maybe I can get even more adjacency bonuses later when I convert my plants next to my city here. And then we draw a Ganymede colony, and that is also fantastic. We already have 2 Jovian tags. That's going to be at the very least 3 points, and it helps basically guarantee the Traveler rewards, and we're going to have more than enough titanium to pay for that. So, and even better, like with Farsis, you get a 3 MC discount on that card. So let's keep that in mind. And of course, I take the plants, get 2 additional plants from this oceans location, which means we can convert, and I do convert on the cards here. And what do you know? We draw Terraforming Ganymede, so better lucky than good, I suppose. These last draws here with large convoy, demos, Ganymede colony, and TG is like, we're back in this game. We're so back. All of a sudden, I'm feeling really good about the situation. And now I can claim Farmer as well. I need to do that before I spend my Psychrophiles. So, and then I get to play Ecozone, for 4 MC back, and life is good. Go to the next draft, but then I think I'm feeling a lot happier now after that generation. That was a fantastic generation for me. Okay, this one is interesting. Regolith Eaters might be a way to enable AI Central, but it's just not a good enough card in my opinion. You should rarely ever play Regolith Eaters just to enable science payoffs unless you have a good reason to actually use that card to advance the oxygen track. And realistically, this card isn't really all that great unless you have Extreme Cold Fungus, so you can use it every gen. Security Fleet, we know, is kind of a trap card. We have so much titanium here that I might have been inclined to take this if it weren't for the fact that I just found some of the best titanium targets I could have hoped for. So no longer interested. Space Elevator is very good for him. It's not good for me since I don't have steel. So there's an argument here to be made for cutting Space Elevator, but Invention Contest is good for both of us. And I haven't mentioned the Promoter Award yet for the most events. We're only at 1 event each. So having these cheap events like Invention Contest and Land Claim has some additional value on this map. But I don't think that should really affect my decision too much here. I don't actually remember what I took, but I believe I took Invention Contest. No, I took Space Elevator. Good. Yeah, I was about to say, I think giving him Space Elevators might be just too much. If you look at how much money he has and how many minerals, that's just an effective way for him to convert those minerals into MC and points and just become even richer. So giving him Invention Contest is annoying, but it is what it is. And speaking of awards, I'm Traveler awards, rewards Earth and Jovian tags. Not that I think we're in any sort of danger of losing Traveler, but of these, obviously, Earth Office is generally the best Earth tag, and I think it's a bit too late to be playing. It's Gen 6, it's a bit too late to be playing Acquired Company. We don't have any targets for for Earth office here, but maybe we can find some. So yeah, I think even security fleet is better than regular theaters. There's just no way he wants to play regular theaters, in my opinion. With all the plant production he has, he will just be taking up his own TR, in my opinion. So I keep the space elevator and Earth office. I have so much alloyed titanium that I think we can get away with this. And importantly, we're now in a position to play Demos down on him. That's a very strong play, and I plan on doing that. And Demos down, for everything that card does, it even comes with 4 steel. Just an insane card. We can use those steel to power Space Elevator for 4 generations, and we're in Gen 6, so 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, once we get to Gen 10, I wouldn't have enough steel to power it, but then maybe we have, in the meantime, we're probably converted on Albamons here. So really, I mean, we probably could get enough steel to use Space Elevator every gen for the rest of the game. So I play the Demos down, take out 6 of its plants, it's very good, and take the heat production bonus here, going up to 6 production. He plays Lichen, and he claims Agronomist. So I mentioned how Agronomist is a difficult milestone, but Ecoline does have an advantage on that, and that was one of the risks of giving him the wild tag here, research coordination. I could have probably gotten Spacefarer relatively soon. I mean, we have Space Elevator coming online pretty soon, and maybe I could have even considered playing Ganymede Colony for the milestone, since this gives Farsis some money back and some production. And we're going to be playing that card anyway, and we have so much titanium and so on and so forth. But I kind of gave up on trying to force these milestones earlier. If I really wanted to, I could have played Beam from a Foreign Asteroid, which would have given me a good shot at Spacefarer and Engineer, and I probably would have gotten 2 milestones instead of 1, but I'm not sure that would have been worth it anyway. Okay, so I draw a release of inert gases, the infamous fart card. Usually not a big fan of that. Only way I can see us playing that here is if it flips promoter or something, but probably not happening. He plays the Invention Contest, and then he fronts Highlander. And yeah, he's up 3-2, I guess. We have 2 here. Of course, we risk this city becoming connected to an ocean. Hopefully we can play Mangrove on that spot, but maybe the city gets an ocean here. And being Ecoline with 6 plant production, even though we have all of these plant cards, they just haven't come online for us soon enough. So I think realistically he's winning Highlander. And it's a little bit annoying because here I was actually contemplating funding Traveler at 8, and maybe that's what I should have done. Instead of drawing, maybe I should have just 8 funded Traveler, because with Earth Office and the Jovian tags, yeah, we're just never losing that. And he knew that he had passed us Earth Office, so knowing that, there's a good chance he tries to beat us to it by funding either Highlander or Landscaper, which are probably relatively safe for him. So yeah, good play from him, and probably missed opportunity for me. Okay, but I played the Space Elevator. I make sure I don't spend any of my steel on that, so I can sell those steel later on. And he plays the fuel generators into Cupola City, so he goes here. Yeah, so you can imagine maybe some oceans come down here, and all of these tiles surrounding this city have resources on them. It's a Highlander tile. He's probably going to start converting around here with this greenery, so I like that play. It gives me some MC production too, but it's not too impactful right now. And he plays the GHT producing bacteria as well. which of course will eventually start raising the temperature here. So the score now is relatively close, but he's gonna score on the board like in the immediate future with all his plant prod, whereas our scoring, which is more like engine based, will take maybe a little bit longer to realize. So generally speaking, I would say that he is the player who wants to hasten the game here. And then he places an asteroid on us, takes out 2 of our plants, raises temperature, and he has optimal aerobraking as well. So he gets some heat. Pretty good. I place Phobos Space Haven, which was yeah, not so sure about this one because like it gives you a titanium production, but it also gives me 1 MC production, and it's super expensive. So in my opinion, Phobos is usually more of a late game card, but maybe he had Blacksmith in mind. But like the nice thing about Blacksmith, it rewards you for production, not resources. So you can still flip that with Phobos Space Haven in the last generation. You don't need to rush that out. So I'm not sure I like that play too much. Yeah, so this draft, it's basically Dev Center versus Research. Dev Center is continuous card draw, which can often be better than Research's instant card draw, but none of us have Energy Prod yet, so it'll take at least 1 generation before Dev Center comes online, and that's starting in Gen 8, so imagine this goes to Gen 10 or 11, then that's only 3 or 4 cards you draw with Dev Center, and you need the power for it, whereas Research is just like 2 instant cards now, and with him having 4 science tags, giving him Research is kind of scary because all of a sudden you might enable stuff like Mass Converter and stuff. Yeah, maybe AGT. So I think it's Research here, and that also just immediately enables AI Central for us. And then these cards are just like garbage. Take Lightning Harvest because he might want that with his Dev Center. And here, yeah, I take Peroxide again. He probably wants power for his Dev Center, so it's only Research here for me. And then we're at 4% oxygen, and he standards the greenery. Again, a standard project, so that he can then convert. This is another play I wasn't really sure about because standarding a greenery is really expensive, and if you can take the 8% bonus bump, then it's often worth it, especially if it gives you like an immediate follow-up conversion. But he's Ecoline with 6 plant production, so he's gonna be able to take most of this oxygen track anyway. That's not going to be the lagging parameter. So if he wants to end the game, he should rather, I think, save his money for like SP asteroids, which I mean, temperature is most likely to be the lagging parameter. Really don't like that play, to be honest. Okay. We draw Hired Raiders, and I immediately play that and take his steel because that is useful for our space elevator. Make sure that stays online. He activates the GHG, skips. I don't want action back because here I see that I might need to beat him to the next award fund, and I do fund Traveler. I had a long think about this before I did it, but it's looking more and more like Landscaper is going to be his. Like, look at this. He already has a cluster of 6 tiles. And maybe I can cut him off in these 2 locations. But there's still going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tiles here. And that's going to be pretty hard to beat for me. Because I still don't have any plant production. So instead of just reflex 1 action in him back, I think it was I needed to fund the Traveler Award. I probably needed to fund it at 8, to be honest. So I still think it's correct to fund it here, and he passes. That's why I did the one action, and he doesn't seem to have a lot of plays. He only has 4 cards now, and he's been SPing, so I can sense a little bit of desperation on his part now. Whereas earlier in the game, it was me that was desperate. So okay, now I can play the geothermal. I played that using 3 steel, and I just said that it was nice to have steel to power space elevator. But here I have plans of playing plantation. I can use my sacrifice to pay for plantation and then convert here. That will give me another 2 steel. So if I have 1 steel here, that'll be for Gen 8, and I have 2 more for Gen 9 and 10. Anything beyond after Gen 10, I mean, it's likely that the game just ends in Gen 10. And if it doesn't, I think I have a good chance anyway with my AI Central and all the Jovians and stuff. So I'm not too concerned about not being able to use Space Elevator in Gen 11, let's just say. Okay, so I played the small animals. That is very good. And that was the risk he ran by with his SP greenery there. Turns on small animals. Okay, we go to the next draft. Adaptation technology is a card that I might have even considered earlier on, just because I had so many parameter locked cards. But it's also super expensive, and now we already have enough science tags for AI, so I don't really need the tag. So I think here there are basically 2 cards to consider. Business Network will give him some much needed card draw. He only has 4 cards and he's very rich, so he desperately needs cards. Then again, Business Contacts just gives you 4 instant cards. That's probably a better card, but I mean, Traveler is funded, although I don't think that's going to be flipped. That is a consideration. So I take the Business Network. I'm not sure if that's the correct order here. Maybe I should have taken Business Contacts, just because getting to look at 4 cards immediately means probably one of them is going to be useful for him. And I'm not sure we're playing Business Network here. It would be nice and all with Earth Office and so on, but if I plan on playing AI Central anyway, we're going to have a bunch of card draw, and I already have very good cards on hand, so it's not like I need 3 card draw. I think, honestly, I don't think I'm rich enough to play that card. And here we have Mass Converter. Noctis Farming would be nice, but I think it's an obvious Mass Converter in this case. Don't necessarily need the 6 energy, but just with the science discounts alone, like we have at least 3 science tags we want to play, potentially more. So yeah, it's just one of the best cards in the game, basically. Then Bribed Committee is a bit too late, so I only keep the Mass Converter. I think with 38 MC here, only 2 MC production, I think Business Network, even though you could discount it with Earth Office, I just think it's a bit too late for that in Gen 8. I would need a better economy to support that. And I said we don't need 3 card draw. We already have restricted area, so we don't need 4 card draw. That would be overkill. And restricted area really pulling its weight here and drawing us important nitrogen, which is another absolute banger of a card. That's going to be a fantastic card for us. He standards another greenery. He really doesn't have a lot to do here. So this allows him another conversion. So I'm wondering here if we saw Predators in the draft, so not like he's rushing the oxygen to try to get Predators online. So maybe he has birds, but we don't have any plant prod at the moment. So I'm really not sure why he's in such a hurry to make all these standard projects here, because if he was leading by like 30 plus points, I can see the argument for just like SPing out. But with such a slim lead of only 12 points, and we're only at minus 16 degrees, and there's still 5 oceans remaining. I think it's too early to start standarding. That's just my opinion. And I do think, even though it's Gen 8, I mean, like I said, you still need 5 oceans to come out, and the temperature track really needs to advance. He doesn't have any heat production. So while I think AI Central, it's often too late to play AI Central in Gen 8, here I think it's worth it, because we have the heat production. We can decide whether we want this game to go long. Like, if I want to force this game to go at least 11 generations, that's well within my powers, especially now that he spent most of his money on SP Oceans and Greeneries. And then we find the birds. So yeah, another reason why you shouldn't necessarily be that eager to rush out the oxygen track in an expensive way if you don't have the oxygen payoffs. So like I said, we saw predators. We didn't keep that, but he doesn't know that, and now we have the birds as well. Okay, place the business contacts into grass, so more plant production for him. Activate my Psychro and add a small animal. Then he plays the Noctis farming and raises temperature with the GHG. So if I had some plant destruction right now, that would be nice, but I don't. Okay, so we're at 8%, and I decide to plantation here on the 2 steel. So now we have some more steel that we can use to sell with the space elevator. And having just drawn birds, I'm also very interested in getting the oxygen up. So I'm really happy to play a plantation that can be paid for with psychrophiles, and it gives me an extra animal on ecological zone, and life is good. And then I get to play the mass converter. He nuke zones. That was where did he play that? Here. Yeah, so he sees the oceans coming out. There's a card here, some plants, so this is generally a good location, and he doesn't feel the need to defend Highlander. He's confidently winning that right now. I still have 0 plant broad, so yeah. This gets him another conversion. He converts on the card, so maybe he's looking to steal this juicy location from me with a future conversion. Okay. I found this draft to be a little interesting because Mining Expedition, while usually not a very good card, has multiple purposes for us there. So first of all, it advances the oxygen track towards our birds, and it takes away some oxygen from him with all his plant production, kills some of his plants, and it also gives us a couple of steel in case we run out of steel to sell with Space Elevator. So honestly, not the worst card. Of course, Noctis City is a city, and we're Tharsis, and we have now the energy to power that. So I do take the Mining Expedition, but I'm still not sure if I'm going to keep it, because we're still pretty poor. Usually not what you see with Tharsis, but that's the case. And special design is a little scary here. I was thinking about all these SP Oceans he was rushing out, so maybe he has kelp farming, in which case I wouldn't want to give him special design. And then these cards are kind of inconsequential. And yeah, I do keep the special design. I might want to use that with birds. Getting birds online 1 gen earlier is really powerful. Or we might want to use it with something like, well, Bushes is already online. Algae is coming online soon. So yeah, I must have taken this just to play birds, I guess. And finally, he does have the extreme kelp fungus. He must have found that recently. So now we can get a heat bump every gen, which is nice. Then he converts. Now I'm sitting at 20 heat resources, so the score is, he's in the lead, but he has 5 cards. We have 15 alloy titanium, and we have 2 Jovian molts and imported nitrogen. So while I think in general, when I have AI Central and all these cards, I should try to stall the game to make sure I can catch up. But here, I'm actually not so sure. Like, I more and more get the feeling that even if I do take the heat, maybe I just have enough scoring on hand that we will still win. So, and also like oceans are now lagging. So I'm more and more thinking that maybe temperature isn't going to be the lagging parameter. I mean, he also has the GHG producing bacteria every gen. So with 5 oceans left, maybe that's the lagging parameter. I draw some useless cards, although with 1 allied steel left, mine is actually not that bad here. It'll only cost me 1 steel and 1 MC, and then I can continue using Space Elevator. And it equals my production for Blacksmith, just in case that is ever in consideration. Okay, we go up to -8 degrees, and I draw the kelp farming. So we're now at 4 oceans, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, okay, maybe we don't use the special design on birds. Maybe it's more important to get kelp farming. First I play mine. He funds Landscaper. And yeah, sure, he has one of the 6, 7, 8, he has 9 tiles. I could block him here, like I said, in both locations, but he's going to get 11 at the very least. And I think that's going to be more than enough to win Landscaper. So realistically speaking, I'm not that interested in trying to fight him on that. So yeah. I just activate my small animals and do my things. I'd rather wait to special design, whether it's birds or kelp, just after he passes. And I also want to wait to take my heat until he is passed. And I do end up special designing kelp farming. I think it's I think either kelp or birds are can be considered, but 2 oceans, there's no guarantee that 2 more oceans are coming out. While the oxygen, if I play kelp now, he has 7 plants next gen. I'm gonna have 5, and with bushes, I'm gonna have a conversion next gen. So birds is almost for sure coming online next generation. So I think it's safer to special design the kelp farming here. I do play the bushes. I sold 3 cards because I wanted to play the insects, of course. So insects is now 4 prod and brings us up to 9. So now we have the plant prod. It's a little late in Gen 9, but it's still pretty good to have all of this plant production. And now I decide I do want to raise the temperature twice here. So we're going up to 17 heat resources at the start of next gen, which means I can take the bonus ocean. I would need to do that immediately though, before converting my plants. So it's not ideal, but I still think that's pretty good. I can even consider playing imported GHG here. It's almost free, but I don't think it's necessary. Okay, this draft. I'm a big fan of the card Hackers, but I think Gen 10 is a little bit late to be playing Hackers. House printing is basically a steel dump, which is nice for him, and it will also bring him ahead on Blacksmith. But I don't think he's going for Blacksmith. Actually, now that I look at it, all the wars are funded, so Blacksmith no longer a consideration. But even if it were, I don't think that's what he would be going for. And this is just, it's not that good of a card. Ants can be annoying since we have the Psychrophiles, but I think at this point we are in a position where I can effectively play around ants with my Psychros. At least this first generation, I can probably just Psychro into algae or something. So I'm not too concerned about that. Lava Flows is the most important card here, and that's what I take. Of course, now I could Lava Flows into the ocean bonus and then convert, and then I would have basically enough heat to finish out the temperature track, but I'm not sure that's what I want to do. But the nice thing about having Lava Flows is that after I use my heat and take the bonus ocean, if he starts, putting out oceans, we could come into a situation where I might be able to end the game. So that's always it's always nice to have the ability to end the game at least. And yeah, so I took Vesta Shipyard there. I think it's just a no-brainer. So we're going to be playing Ganymede and TG, and Vesta Shipyard is going to be 3 points. I think I'm paid for with Allied Steel, Allied Titanium. So that is just very good, especially now that we have a discount on space cards. Here, take Ants, of course. I think you keep 2 cards here. Lava Flows, like I said, for the game control. Not 100% sure I'm going to be playing that, but can be nice to have in your hand. And Vesta is just like really efficient scoring at this point. We have 80 MC worth of titanium here, so we can play all of our Joves and even nitrogen. Okay, so I raised temperature, take the bonus ocean, put it here. And immediately after doing that, I just realized he has 7 plants. So if he wants to, he can steal our good conversion spot here. But that also gives us a point. So he could, like, if he converts here instead of next to a city, that's a 2-point swing. I'm not sure he can afford that right now. Like, money isn't his issue. He has 13 titanium and 71 MC. So I think it's probably just better to convert next to a city. So he permafrosts. That's a good play. He permafrosts here, and then I guess he converts for the 4 MC back into 2 plants. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, now we have 15 plants, so I can convert here and then get 2 conversions. So yeah, I convert here and then convert in this really nice pocket here for the essentially 8 MC back, because 4 MC and then alloy titanium, which we're gonna be using. So that's 8 MC back and 2 points. So really nice. He activates your extreme cold fungus and increases temperature. And we're getting into the danger zone sort of ending the game here. So, but even though he has 71 MC, I don't think there's any way he can end the game, force an end to this game and win. Like, even if he plays Lake Marineris and Ice Cap Melting or something, I still don't think that's going to be enough here. So just bide my time. So Interstellar Colony Ship is another good scoring card for us. And he standards an Aquifer. I guess at this stage of the game, when he has 4 cards to my 15, and we have AI Central and Restricted Area, and he's leading by 12 points, he doesn't really have any choice. Like, he needs to try to end the game ASAP. Unfortunately, I have all of these amazing cards in my hand, but he doesn't know that. So yeah, he plays Big Asteroid. Yeah, he told me after the game he forgot to play the Big Asteroid. He should have played that first to take out my plants, and I agree. I draw cards, play the Earth Office, and then he standards another Aquifer. Just a lot of standard projects and another one. So he SP's out, and we come to an end in this game. And just a bunch of standard projects for him in this game, which are very inefficient plays. So now I'm 16 points behind, but I basically just know I've got the win at this point because yeah, I just sell some cards, just let him finish. He plays a city here and a virus on my. Yeah, I think he played the virus on my small animals. Now I play the Vesta Shipyards and the Ganymede Colony. And he has the greenhouses, pretty good play. It's a pretty good card for him. He gets 2 more greeneries here next to the city he just built. That's pretty good. Now we're 16 points behind again, but then I play the TG for 5 points, and then I play the birds, which means he's gonna get 1 less greenery since I took away some of his production there. Actually not. He was getting 11 plants, now he's getting 9, so it doesn't really matter. Imported nitrogen, get some psychrophiles and some birds, some TR, and we can use the psychrophiles to play mangrove. He did take the mangrove spot here from us, so good observation on his part, remembering that we had the mangrove. But mangrove is still a very good card, even if you don't get the oxygen, and yeah, it's just very good. Then I can still afford Interstellar Colony Ship and Radcam and Magfield Dome and Transneptune Probe, and I can just play my entire hand basically, and land claim there for yeah, he wasn't getting 2 more conversions anyway, but I think there was a funny situation here. If this was his only conversion spots, now he does have 5 MC, but I think if he had, how does that work? I think you have less than 4 MC, you can't take that spot, so it could have costed him a point, but he does have this location, so it doesn't matter in this situation. So playing land claim there is basically just for the memes. And ironically, I have to sell Algae, which was one of the good cards I had in my opening hand, and Open City, which is very much a Tharsis Republic card, and kind of a funny end situation here. I convert plants next to my city, I suppose, and he gets a conversion, and it's a decisive victory for me with 99 to 92 points. So a relatively decent score for Gen 10. Especially considering how bleak things looked at the beginning of the game. But like, once I started drawing good titanium targets, things just like escalated. Kind of a funny Tharsis Republic game, because the only city I ever placed was the one that came with my corporation. Usually not what you see from Tharsis, but this is a map that doesn't really award monkeying around with lots of cities necessarily, so the corporation didn't really matter much to me in this situation. The corporation had a much bigger effect on his strategy, whereas for me, I just found some really good engine cards that I was ultimately able to play to get the win. And yeah, that it started with that large convoy and Demo's down draw, which were both insane, and then the Joe molds. Without those cards, yeah, things would have looked a lot different. But that's the way it goes. And usually, when you play evening match opponents, it's the luckiest player who wins, and that's just how it is. And GG to my opponent, and I'll be advancing to the next round. This is a knockout tournament, so I don't know who I'll be. Actually, I think I play Yoshi. Well, let's see. I'm going to be covering my next round as well, so hope you'll stay around for that. And until next time, see you around.